Hey everyone, so we have notes again today. Today we're going to be talking about solving one-step equations, but all of these equations will be multiplication and division equations. So this is lesson goal 412, solve one-step equation. And again, these are still just one step because it only takes one math operation to solve these. So it's called one-step equations. And remember, the goal, whenever we're solving one-step equations, the goal is, this is the goal right here. The goal is to get the variable by itself using inverse operations, okay? And then inverse operations, the inverse of multiplication is division, and the inverse of division is multiplication. That's why I have this arrow going back and forth. And then from the last equations we learned, the inverse of addition is subtraction, and the inverse of subtraction is addition. Those math operations undo each other. Okay. And again, here's just the definition of inverse operations. Those are math operations that undo or cancel each other. So pause that. I'm going to lower it some more. So here we have steps for solving one-step equation. It's pretty fast and straightforward. There's not too many steps. So the first thing you want to do is find the variable. Variable is the letter, okay. And then step 2, it says use the inverse operation to get the variable alone. Find the letter, and then there's some kind of operation going on to it. Do the inverse of that to get the letter by itself. And then 3, just state your answer. Okay. So again, copy that down. I'm going to pause it for a second. And then let's lower it. So I have four examples here. I have 4 examples. This is P divided by 2 equals 8. This is S divided by 8 equals 9. Here I have 24 equals 4 times X. This is where it begins to get tricky, because the variable X can be used, and sometimes it looks like multiplication sign. So this is not 4 times something and then something's missing. This is just 4x, which is 4 times x. And then here we have 5 times u equals 45. So remember, there's different ways we can see multiplication. I think I'll show you here. Like, one way we could see multiplication is like this. Another way is if we have a dot in between. And then even a third way is if they put parentheses around everything. Okay? Generally, when it's a number and a letter, they don't put anything in between it. If it's 2 numbers, these 2 methods are used whenever there's 2 numbers. Okay? So let's go through and solve these. So here, step 1, find the variable. There's step 1. Step 1, find the variable. There's the variable. The variable is p, and then we're dividing p by 2. So the inverse of divided by 2 would be multiplied by 2. So I'm going to put times 2 times 2. Okay, and technically these cancel each other, right? That's why we're doing divided by 2 and multiply by 2 cancel each other. Then you're left with p over here on the left hand side, and then 8 times 2 is 16. So I know my answer is p equals 16, because 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay. S divided by 8 equals 9. So again, here's the letter. We're dividing the letter by 8. The inverse of divided by 8 is multiplied by 8. And I'm going to use the dot method. No more x's, because it'll get tricky and you guys will confuse it with the letter. And I don't want to use it as a letter no more. So again, you have an 8 here, 8 times, or divided by 8 and multiplied by 8. Those cancel. You're left with s on the left hand side, and then over here you have 9 times 8, which is 72. So I know my answer is s equals 72. Okay. So let's lower this. Here we have 24 equals 4 times x. So there's the letter. We're multiplying by 4. The opposite of multiply by 4 is divide both sides by 4. Now there's different ways we can write division. We can write division with the multiply, with the division symbol, or we can write it kind of like as a fraction with a number on top and then a number on the bottom. And actually somebody said before that the division symbol is actually like this. The 2 dots stand for numbers. But anyway, I'm always going to write it like this, or most of the time I'm going to write it like this. So 4 times x, the inverse is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Again, you have to realize this means division. It looks like a fraction, but it actually means 24 divided by 4. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and that's x. And then on all of these, I kind of forgot, but we are always bringing down the equal sign. And then that also lets us know that it's going on both sides of the equation. And then my answer is just x equals 6. Again, because 4 times 6 is 24. So here we have 5 times u equals 45. So the inverse of 5 times u is divide by 5 divided by 5. Again, you want to bring down the equal sign. 5 divided by 5, that cancels. Or you get 1u, and then 45 divided by 5, well that's 9. So I know my answer is u equals 9. Okay, so pause this, finish it, and let's do some more exercises.